Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We're back live late at night if you are watching it late at night. And this is always the exciting part of the summer window for me, when something credible breaks and we go live on the United Stand, even though we've done a half-8 show. We're not going to do it because the Daily Star says we're signing Gareth Bale. This is big. This is from Marzio and this is to do with Fabinho. A €50 million offer from Manchester United has been made for Fabinho, according to Marzio. Now, if you don't know who Marzio is, where have you been for the last 3 years? Because the United Stand has very much always been a big advocate of this Italian journalist. Very, very accurate when it comes to Manchester United. He came into his prime last year, Pogba, Mkhitaryan and Zlatan. Not Bailly, but the other three definitely ahead of the game with everybody and spot on in relation to those deals. He's also said that tonight he's come out and basically said, obviously he's an Italian journalist talking about Juventus. Douglas Costa, that deal is apparently on hold. Juventus have moved towards Matuidi, which we've been talking about. He's been on about this for a while, and they are no longer. Fabinho is no longer a priority for Juventus because Manchester United have made a €50 million offer. They're now looking at Danilo or Darmian from Manchester United. You can start to see, and maybe there's a little bit of hope in it, but you can start to see the plot thickening on this. We let them have Darmian, we get Fabinho. Fabinho talking in the press about how tempting it would be to go to Manchester United, but it's up to Monaco and Manchester United to sort a deal out if there is a deal. This is exciting now, though. This is not the Telegraph. This is not Manchester Evening News. This is Marzio, who I don't think there's a journalist better when he does talk about Manchester United. And he's not a specialist Manchester United topic journalist. He's an Italian journalist, but he's very, very accurate. And you'll hear, if you don't know who he is, he's on Twitter, very easy to follow. Everybody quotes him now as being a great source because we've been doing it for years, and I've got no problem with that. He is a very, very good journalist. If you're interested in Serie A like I am anyway, he's a great journalist to follow, but very respected and very, very good at Manchester United. For those who weren't watching the United Stand last summer, it was just, I think if you can find a journalist or outlet that's more than is 70% right all the time, I think you're going to struggle. This bloke's way beyond that. So very, 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 very good, very, very accurate. We said last summer it was almost as if he was getting his information from Manchester United because it was so accurate. And hopefully this summer will continue down that route as well. Because if we can get Fabinho, we did a show at 8:30 talking about what if we get Matic and we don't get Fabinho, and we'd all support him and we'd back him, we'd back Jose, but it's not really what we want as fans. If we get Fabinho, I think it'll be a smile on the face signing. I'm just hoping now that Marzio is going to deliver the goods on this. Not massive amount said. He's more talking in the article. He's more talking about what Juventus are up to, and you could say it's a throwaway line, but it definitely says Manchester United have made a €50 million bid for Fabinho, which would be about £44 million sterling. Which, you know what? If I wanted to be really petty, I could say he's slightly over what he's worth. But to be honest, if we get him, we get him. 23 years of age, 24 in October, 6'2". He's actually got a decent shot on him. He takes penalties. But as I was talking around on the 8:30 show, United, you can talk about Matic, you can talk about Eric Dyer, you can talk about whatever player you want. The player that we sign has got to be the right sort of player. They need to be quick, good at breaking up the ball and feeding it to the players in front of them, like Pogba. And that's what Fabinho would do. And also positionally aware, and he is very positionally aware. So he's the perfect player for us. I'm not going to say if we get him, he's not going to flop, because anybody can flop. But this is a signing that me personally, and I know a lot of you as well, would definitely get us excited. And as we were talking earlier, Perisic, I'm quite happy with his signing. Perisic, I think he'll surprise a lot of people. But I'd say that's 50-50 with some United fans. Morata, I'd be happy if we signed Morata. I'd say 70% are happy, 30% aren't. But these are, whatever the percentages, they are signings that are sort of dividing United fans. I think Fabinho, everybody wants to get him. We've been on about him on this show. We've all been talking about him for at least 2 or 3 months now, saying, what a season he's had. We've always been linked to him as a right back because that's where he was playing. Even back as far as Van Gaal's first summer, we were linked to Fabinho as a right back. But this last season in particular, he's moved. He is a very versatile player anyway, but he's been playing as a centre defensive midfielder. And for those people who've watched Monaco, and a lot of us will have seen Monaco a lot over the last season, he's been the best centre defensive midfielder they've got. I mean, Chelsea want Bakayoko, but for me, Fabinho, for what United need, is the better midfielder. And I think he's got a lot of growth in him. 6'2" as well. You know, I don't agree with Mourinho's obsession with height, but at least Fabinho is tall, and that satisfies that as well. Anthony Gallagher saying, is this paper talk? It's 4 AM for Chikorito me. God, I didn't realise people would be watching at that time. But Umar says he still prefers Matic to Fabinho. Get to bed, Umar. Early bedtime for you. But no, this is not just paper talk. We don't react. You know, the United Stand is very much 7 AM in the weekdays talking about transfer show, and 8:30 every night. We don't normally do another show after 8:30 unless you've been watching this for a few years, where historically there's been a handful of shows where we've gone live at around 11 o'clock at night. Schweinsteiger, when it was announced he was going to sign, a couple of other things, but this is reacting, and I hummed and hawed about it. A few people were like, are you going to go live? And I thought about it, and I thought, no, Mark, be consistent on what you believe when it comes to transfer stuff, and I staked the reputation of the United Stand a few times on Marzio, and I'm willing to do it again. I'm sure at some point the balloon will burst, but it stayed pretty firm in relation to Marzio and Manchester United news stories, and that is why we've gone live. And also, I want us to sign Fabinho, we all do, and I'm just hoping there's something in it. I mean, it's not done by any deal, it's not done by any stretch, sorry, but £50 million euro offer, £44 million has been made by Manchester United for Fabinho, according to Marzio in his article where he's talking about Juventus. That is a statement, it is a sentence, but to put that in there for him pretty much means that that's been done. Well, that for me is the big positive, because we've had Fabinho on Brazilian TV today and yesterday sort of flirting with United, openly saying that he'd be very tempted by it. And my interpretation with that only a couple of hours ago was I feared that that's a player who wants to come to United, but United haven't done anything for him. Couple of hours later, Marzio delivers the goods. United have made the bid. If United have made the bid, this deal will be done. This deal will be done because he clearly wants to come. If United have made the bid, that means we're interested. And also, just to back this up, if this deal does come off, I want to say again, Marzio said it at the start of May that United were interested in Fabinho. So months ahead of everybody else again, if it's right, and I'm hoping it is. As Owen Luke says, the Don. Give him a follow, and when you do, tell him how you found him through the United Stand. He is aware of the United Stand because he's retweeted a few things of our stuff as well, and he's got a great team who work around with him. But yes, I'm thumbs up on it. Red Devil Supremacy says Marzio suggests Mourinho has been obsessed with Mbappe since March. Very true, Red Devil Supremacy. And if you've been watching the United Stand over the last weeks, whenever I get asked if we're signing a Galactico or a superstar, who do I always say? I always say Mbappe, and that's only because of Marzio. I don't think we'll sign Mbappe. Marzio didn't say we were going to sign Mbappe. He said that we were after Mbappe, and Mourinho was obsessed with him. Whether Mbappe wants to come to United or not is a different thing. If Mbappe was sat on French TV last night going, "Oh, I'm tempted by Manchester United," then I think it was going to happen. I think we'd like to sign Mbappe. It's just whether we can do it or not. This Fabinho thing is far more encouraging. And as I said it a few weeks ago, didn't I? I said we're talking about who you'd have from Monaco, and I said Fabinho. I know a lot of people said Silva and Bakayoko and Mendy and Mbappe, all good players, but I said Fabinho because sometimes it's not about taking their best player, it's about taking what's best for our team. And I think that centre defensive midfield position is so important, and if we can get somebody who's got some pace about them, who can, and positional sense, and the ability to break up the play and feed the better players, the more attacking players, that's what we need. And whatever you think about Matic, he lacks the one thing that we definitely need in that position, and that is the ability to get around the ground quick. He can't do that, Carrick can't do that, Fellaini can't do that. I think Fosu Mensah can, it's just whether he ever gets given that opportunity. Lots of love for Kieran Burns saying we won't get Mbappe now. Yeah, I probably would agree, but I think we were definitely in for him. Fabinho is perfect, says Mark Bolton. Our midfield is too static and predictable. We need someone quicker across the ground with defensive discipline. Perfect. And a perfect comment, that Mark Bolton, to be honest. He's properly tweeted it now. I was reading it from his article, so let me just double check on that. Yes, it's an official tweet. You can follow him at Marzio, which is at, and then DIMRZIO. Just tweeting him. Just have a look at. I just want to get his translation on his actual tweet. It's even better. He says that Manchester United. In fact, there might be a little bit more while we're live. He says it's negotiation. He said the deal is very near and negotiations are well underway. Oh, come on, please be true. Let me just translate his article here. I know a little bit of Italian, as people might realise why I know a bit of Italian. But Mourinho's looking for an external. The name is that Fabinho, with Monaco, which is now very close to Manchester United, a future Red Devil in short, an operation of about 50 million. The negotiations between the parties are well underway, and the future of Fabinho could be in the Premier League. The ball is in Mourinho's court. That's even bigger than what we went live off, folks. That's bloody massive. That is. He's taken the sentence out of an article and he's put it into a bloody new one. Wow, absolutely brilliant news. Really, really brilliant. That is. That's even better. I mean, we went live off it anyway. That's even better. Negotiations well underway. Expects him to be in the Premier League soon. Wow, that is. Adam Lindsay says, "I wish Marzio became United agent." He's brilliant. I mean, you know what? He's become quite mainstream now because people have picked up on the ears that a lot of what we base our credible sources on are Di Marzio. But you know, it's open, it's there for everybody. We've always said that, but obviously other outlets and everything jump on it. But he deserves that. Wherever he gets it from and however he does it, he's a fantastic journalist. And in relation to Manchester United, he's very, very accurate. And actually, like I say, if you follow Serie A, he's very, very good at that as well. And I to be honest with you, I would, you know, I'm in a good mood now. I would recommend that next season you watch a bit more Serie A. There's some fantastic players going there, and now there's a lot more money in it. Serie A used to be very, very interesting. Lost its way a little bit, but that's because the Milan clubs lost their way. They're coming back into it. Juventus are always going to be a big club. Roma are decent. It's a good league to watch, but I'm blowing wind up the arse of Italian things now because it's good. Very, very excited, says Michael Vogue. Fabinho would be a great signing. Wary of his signing Matic. Your thoughts, Mark? Pizzerian 89. Yeah, I don't want Matic. I don't care whether we're getting Fabinho or not. I mean, if it's Fabinho or Matic, it's obviously Fabinho. But I don't want Matic as well. You know, I'm going to be very consistent about this. I don't want Matic, even if he's backup or whatever. I don't want Matic at Manchester United for the same reasons, and I'd be a hypocrite to change them. I don't want Chelsea cast-offs. I don't want somebody so slow in our midfield. I think he's on the decline. Having watched him last season, I hardly noticed him. I think Kante did most of the work, and he's not the player he was a couple of years ago. And we've got Fosu Mensah to come through. I think get Fabinho in, use Fosu Mensah. What we do need is a midfielder who's a little bit more attacking. I think that's where, as your centre defensive midfielders, if we get Fabinho, we've got Fabinho, Carrick and Fosu Mensah. In the attacking midfield positions, you've got Pogba, Herrera, Fellaini. I think we need another one in that position. I think we need, you know, Renato Sanchez, Ross Barkley. There's lots of options, but that's for another time. I'm very, very excited about this Fabinho thing. It's almost, you know, reacted late. I was just about to go to bed actually, and it's almost like it's not real, but it is real because I've pinched myself under the table a few times, and I feel it, and I feel excited. Not from pinching myself under there, but I do feel excited because. This is if you've been watching the United Stand, and I know loads of you have said it as well, so I'm saying it for a collective. We've been on about this for a long, long time. To the extent we've had conversations where we've said he could be the most important signing of the summer because that position is so, so important. I think if we get this signing, this is so, and I'm getting ahead of myself here and I accept that, but if we get this signing, because this is what Manchester United fans are like in the main. Yes, you can give us Bale or Ronaldo or anything like that, but I really do believe United fans will be as excited about this signing as any other signing we make this summer because we understand that this position and this player fits it perfectly. Now, I'm not going to say that he's not going to have teething problems if we get him, but the player and the position just shows the depth of Manchester United fans and what they understand about their club and what they need. Because there's not going to be many clubs in world football who would get excited about a centre defensive midfielder. But we do, because we know that that is fundamental to what we need to do next year based on where we were going wrong last year. Getting over, and you know, I remember that game at the Etihad. overrun in midfield. Overrun in midfield because of the lack of pace and the lack of positional ability from that team. And I think Fabinho would be perfect for that. And it gives us a lot of diversity as well in relation to positions that he can play. He can play centre-back, he can play right-back. But yeah, I hope we're not signing him as a right-back, actually. Craig McCullough Games says that he thinks that James Rodriguez will happen. Well, you know, if we can get this deal done, and we can get this deal done in the next few days, as much as people have been moaning about the transfer window, Lindelof and Fabinho in June is a great platform to build for the rest over the next few weeks. So let's have a few fingers crossed, and let's see. True Reds TV says Fabinho means no James, right? I don't know what that would mean. Fabinho's from Monaco, 2 different positions. I've spoke about Matic. I don't want to sign him anyway. Even if we get Fabinho, I don't want Matic. We could still do both deals. I'd be worried about that though. I would be worried about getting Matic and Fabinho, because what happens to people like Marzio? Hopefully he carries on giving us United news. What happens to people like Fosu Mensah then? That would be my concern about that. Tony Ike says, very good point. He says, Paul Pogba, your shackles are off. Well, if we sign Fabinho, they are, because you just leave it to Fabinho and Herrera to do the defensive side of things and let Pogba do his thing. Fabinho is a good player going forward, as A Hugsy says. He is a good player going forward. He takes penalties, but defensively is what we need. But you know, if we've got a player that can also pass, and you know, you look at, if we make this signing of Fabinho, and hopefully it looks like it's going to happen now. If we make this signing, we've got Lindelof, who's very good at passing out from the back. So we've got a centre-back who's very good at passing out from the back. We've got a centre defensive midfielder in Fabinho, who's very good at passing the ball. You know, not every team has players who've got centre-backs and centre defensive midfielders who are very good at passing the ball. And that is an asset, a major asset to how we want to set up next season. But Dazza7 says, if you want Talisca, Matic, Keane or Lukaku, get out. Shut the door on the way out. Yeah. Yeah, I do sort of agree with you, but we are all inclusive. But my personal opinion is I don't want any of those players either. Everyone, well, tomorrow, could it be this weekend? Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Could it be this weekend that he gets announced? He's probably still in Brazil, so it might be into next week. But it's going to be interesting, because I'd heard that Bakayoko to Chelsea was almost done, so it'd be interesting to see what Bakayoko goes for. And if we get Fabinho, what he goes for, because they're much the same age. People sort of have arguments about who's the better player. I've been saying it's Fabinho for a long time, but it'd be interesting to see what he's got. Apparently, an 83% pass accuracy is what Fabinho's got. And Cleon Bulgin makes a good point. This means we're going to be playing swift football from the back to the front, which, if you watched Skype Goldbridge the other night, we had a caller who said the big problem with United last season is the inability to move the ball quickly from the back to the front along the ground. We're just hitting a lot of long balls because we don't have the players who've got the technique to pass it out from the back, which is, I'm sure, something Jose's aware of as well. Dante Gerrard's falling asleep. Get some sleep, mate. Tomorrow's another day. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more news as well in relation to this. But you've got to react to something like that. We've always been the trendsetters when it comes to reacting to Di Marzio, and we'll continue to do that, because I think it's a very interesting development, and hopefully this is an indication that this is going to happen, and we're going to get Fabinho to Manchester United. I love it. I love doing the United Stand, but I love the summer when we get these little stories at silly hours and we react to it, because there's so many people watching, so many people happy about it, and that's what the community is with the United Stand. It's and I think we have that own. We have our own. I mean, Tony Forrestel saying fake transfer news. Get back to bed, mate. You're about 20 minutes too late. We have that community, and we also, I think we've built up over the years that sort of Di Marzio little clique on the United Stand, because we all, if you're new to it, you'll get to know it, but we are very big on when he comes to Manchester, when he mentions Manchester United. You know, we treat it as gospel. People can say that's really stupid of you, but it's been proved right so many times, and I'm very optimistic about this Fabinho deal now. Don't let us down. We believe in you. Thanks everyone for watching. I don't think there'll be any more news tonight, so we'll be back tomorrow with you. But thanks everyone for watching. Probably going to be around midday tomorrow. Just got a couple of things to do in the morning, so it'll be about midday we'll go live. We'll have an update on this and everything else. But thanks for everyone who's joined us live. Remember, if you are new to the United Stand, click that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Drop us a like. It's not a bother. A few people are saying, do you ever sleep? It's not a bother reacting to this sort of news. It doesn't happen that often. And yeah, very, 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 very happy. The source is Marzio, Jordan Aaron Smith. It's all been mentioned, but it is Marzio. It's in the video description as well. A bit of good news. This is why we do it. People get really... I've actually wrote it down to say it on the show tomorrow, and I will say it tomorrow, but I'll just give it for those who are watching now. It was one of the questions on the 8:30 show that I saw afterwards that I wish I'd answered, and it was, Mark, are you losing interest, stroke excitement in this transfer window? Never. Never. I love doing the transfer window. I love transfers. I love talking about players. But the most thing I love about it is reacting to this sort of thing at silly o'clock, or it can be in the morning, it can be lunchtime, it can be evening, but reacting to this sort of thing and getting that buzz inside you when you start to believe that the player that you want to come to United is going to actually come to United. That's why I like it. There are peaks and troughs. There are peaks and troughs. It was only a week ago, and this is interesting as well. I tweeted a lot of the UK press who a week ago said there's no interest in Fabinho from Manchester United. Not one of them replied. Now, it's going to be very interesting if Fabinho signs, because they are going to be discredited massively. Which goes along with a lot of what we've been saying collectively, that nobody's got a bloody clue what Manchester United are up to. Hopefully, apart from Marzio, who's stolen a march on everyone tonight, and I expect it to be all over the press tomorrow, but hopefully there's something in it. Thanks everyone for watching. Back tomorrow. Thanks for everyone who's joined us live. If you've not watched us live, I hope you've enjoyed the show, especially the bit where it developed a little bit further. Hopefully my emotions were visible and reflective of what my mood is about this, which is very, very positive. I'll be ecstatic if we can come out this transfer window with Fabinho. I don't care if we sign Morata and Perisic and that's it. I'll take Lindelof, Fabinho, Morata and Perisic and be very, very positive about this transfer window. I know people want a superstar signing. That was going to be Griezmann. That's not our fault. It's not Woodward's fault. It's not Mourinho's fault. It was going to be him. He let us down. So I'd be happy with this 4. Let's see what happens. Speak to you all tomorrow.